Good day, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Military and Foreign Affairs Network. I am your host, the voice of reason. In today's episode of the ongoing coverage of the civil war taking place inside of the former state of Ethiopia, we're going to have a close look at a mixture of intelligence and leadership. And specifically, what we're looking at is the United States analyzing and having a review of some of the personality traits of Abiy Ahmed and some of the issues that have caused the United States to be concerned with Abiy Ahmed. So first off, the United States, its intelligence organizations, mainly the Central Intelligence Agency, or CIA, Central Intelligence Agency, removing the State Department, and other diplomatic services that exist, both foreign, external to the United States, and domestic. Obviously take a great deal of interest in the leadership of various countries around the world. Now, obviously, given that Ethiopia, prior to the civil war taking place, was of great interest to the United States in terms of who was leading that country. A very large nation with over 100 million people. So obviously, it is going to get more attention than a country that is much smaller in terms of population base, and so forth and so on. So again, more assets are going to be utilized to figure out just who Abiy Ahmed is. And that process takes place, obviously, through a variety of means, through a variety of intelligence resources. And it really kind of starts at the State Department level. And obviously, there are Central Intelligence Agency assets that have diplomatic cover and certainly operate within the scope and the confines of the State Department through diplomatic interactions with the various political leaders of countries such as Ethiopia. And that's one method that the United States intelligence agencies are able to get a good picture on just who Abiy Ahmed is. We also, when I say we, the United States, are able to conduct certain signal intercepts, both telephonic, radio, any sort of signal intercept that you can possibly think of, anything from text messaging to email. The United States has that capacity, and through that capacity as well, the United States is also able to get a fairly good picture of the type of leader that it is dealing with, especially in regards to Abiy Ahmed. So I would say back in the early part of 2020 is when the United States really started to become concerned with some of the activities of Abiy Ahmed. And those activities obviously were in the January meetings with Isaias Afwerki, when Abiy Ahmed went to Eritrea and had supposedly some clandestine meetings, and they had talked about the possibility of a military conflict with the Tigray region. And that's where the preparations started in terms of this joint operation with Eritrea and the former state of Ethiopia prior to the civil war taking place, in which they launched this invasion of the Tigray region. But that is one of the issues that started to raise alarm bells, quite possibly, here in the United States in terms of information it was receiving and analyzing about Abiy Ahmed. So again, you have a multitude of resources looking at Abiy Ahmed. Again, he is the leader of a country of 100 million people, one of the largest states in Africa. And so obviously it would be prudent to get a good picture on his mental state, uh, his emotional intelligence, his ability to lead that country, and again, just a wide range of factors that could lead a agency or agencies to have concerns about Abiy Ahmed. And then obviously they're going to have direct interactions through individuals within the State Department who directly interact with individuals who are in the close circle of Abiy Ahmed. Obviously, there are parties, there are functions where people say things that they may not necessarily should say, but it could be the truth. At the same time, in terms of signals intelligence, people tend to say things and do things over email, texts, and other resources of communication that they may not do in other circumstances, and that information can be collected as well. And what I can say is that Abiy Ahmed, at some point, quite possibly within the very early 2020 timeframe, had started to create alarm bells. Concerns were starting to manifest itself about the leadership capabilities of Abiy Ahmed and what he was looking to do, just not within the next 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years down the road. And it would apparently seem that some of these concerns that have been raised is the fact that it does not appear that Abiy Ahmed desires at any point to leave his office. So that tells you something. He plans to stay in office through a variety of means. You can have the appearance of elections. You can have the appearance that you win those elections, be it direct elections or parliamentary elections. There are ways through nefarious means to stay in power. And obviously, the United States had picked up intercepts and had discussions that would make one appear that that was happening inside of Ethiopia, especially with the Abiy Ahmed leadership. Then we also have to look at the interactions with other state actors. Again, a big concern with Eritrea. Eritrea is a despotic regime that has been ruled for 30 years by Isaias Afwerki. He is a non-democratic, despotic dictator. That is what he is. There's no getting around that. Anyway, that is what he is. And again, the United States was seeing this very close alliance, this very close kinship, and not just an alliance, but a friendship and kinship between Isaias Afwerki and Abiy Ahmed. And one could start to believe at a certain point, based on, again, signals intercepts, direct interactions, espionage, that Abiy Ahmed quite significantly looked up to Isaias Afwerki, saw him as a mentor, and possibly saw him as someone he would in fact like to be or emulate. And that has caused the United States incredible concern. So again, if we were talking simply about Eritrea, then obviously probably not as a concern as we are now talking about Ethiopia, a country with 100 million people, with various ethnic groups who may not completely agree with the march towards a totalitarian regime like we see in Eritrea. But that is exactly the United States' concern around Abiy Ahmed, was that relationship with Eritrea, that relationship specifically with Isaias Afwerki, and then compounding that, some of the, again, the intelligence that was being picked up around his actions, around his discussions with his inner circle, around his discussions with people who he is comfortable with discussing these issues. But it would appear that, in fact, again, he does not appear to at any point want to leave power. And again, that information, if the U.S. State Department, if CIA, if NSA, if other intelligence agencies, and just not the United States, other intelligence agencies as well, and information inside peoples inside of Ethiopia who have knowledge of his thought process and where he is looking to take the country, we're obviously becoming increasingly concerned. And that was obviously, that information was in the Tigray region and the Tigray leadership as well. They had became aware of some of Abiy Ahmed's desires, thought processes, and again, his close kinship, not professional relationship, possibly in terms of making things better between Eritrea and Ethiopia, but a direct kinship, friendship, and mentorship that came from Abiy Ahmed's relationship with Isaias Afwerki. So I hope this makes a little bit of sense. But again, the United States has taken all these activities by Abiy Ahmed, things that he has done, things that we have now seen as Ethiopia is now in a full-blown civil war. And he is now, again, this is information that intelligence agencies receive that indicate that he is now, again, looking to model his leadership style after the style of Isaias Afwerki. And again, that is what has caused so much concern. That's why we are seeing the United States back away from the Abiy regime. The United States obviously is very, very concerned about some of the activity that is going on inside of Ethiopia, not just, again, some of the intel about Abiy Ahmed that has been received, but obviously direct actions by Abiy Ahmed, to include the mass incarceration of people from Tigray and other ethnic groups, the arresting and incarceration of opposition figures. Again, a lot of this activity started after this mentorship and this kinship with Isaias Afwerki continued to progress. And that's where we are now. Again, you can see clearly him walking around in a uniform. He has all the appearance of a tyrannical leader, as one who probably in the traditions of some of sub-Sahara Africa's best despotic leaders is taking on that form. And again, that is what has the United States, again, very, very concerned. But again, I just wanted to talk about that and discuss that. Again, right now, the conflict, both forces seem to be consolidating just around Kombolcha and Desse. We're not detecting a lot of movements of Ethiopian forces at this point north of Desse and Kombolcha, quite possibly consolidating near that area. And the Tigrayan Defense Forces continue its consolidation as well. And obviously, it is changing some certain strategy sets and is not conducting some strategies that it was utilizing 2-3 weeks ago that is currently utilizing now. But we will continue to monitor the situation and report. And as always, we will have more information very, very soon. Have a good day, everybody.